Well, we're back with good company and Trapper Jack from WDOK, who all week has been bringing us our special Prayers of the Heart. Today is just another special day. I watched a piece on a woman named Darlene Brown. I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about her.
She is one of those amazing people who, and there are a number of people who bring other people to the healing services or to Dr. Nemeh's office, praying something for the other person, and then they themselves get something incredible. So I'm just going to tell you that Darlene Brown has a young boy, Ricky, who has cerebral palsy. And what's amazing about Darlene Brown is that this happened before St. Barnabas Anglican Church in Bay Village a couple of years ago. She was in a helicopter shooting video for a television station, and because this is when Dr. Nemeh started creating some news. There were 10,000 people going to this church, Saints Peter and Paul in Garfield Heights. This church seats 750. 10,000 people are converging on this church. She's in a helicopter shooting the video for this. It was amazing. With her in the helicopter is Ricky. She hasn't a clue who Dr. Nemeh is. She's shooting the video, then found herself right in the middle of the story.
Well, and we're going to pick up right there. Trapper Jack's interview with Darlene Brown.
We happened to be walking around like the mezzanine area, and Dr. Nemeh stopped and saw Ricky driving his wheelchair, and he decided to pray for him right then and there. And I knelt down next to my son in his wheelchair and held his hand, and when Dr. Nemeh laid his hands on Ricky, you could feel extreme heat just pulsing through his body. And my son went from a very tight, spastic type position to loose as a goose, as what he said, and sitting like you and I, the spasticity went away.
What did Ricky say when he left?
Ricky said, "I like Dr. Nemeh." He said, "He makes me hot, but it's a good kind of hot, and it makes me feel good." And we saw immediate changes, unbelievable changes in him.
Like what?
Well, he could wave his hands where he could move fingers individually, where before you were lucky to even get all of the fingers moving together. He could play his keyboard with both hands, and for his right hand to be used that way is a huge, huge accomplishment. His speech got better. His legs were able to move better. He could stand better with support. He could try to take steps better. I think we saw a difference in every aspect of Ricky.
But you also had some physical problems that needed to be addressed.
Back in 1998, I had an injury at work. I worked for Continental Airlines, and I had discs in my neck that were literally shattered. I lived 2 years with pain in my arms, my neck, my back, constant headache. Had surgery, had the discs replaced, and a plate put into my neck. Well, the screws in the plate broke. The discs didn't take. So I was looking at, last time I went to the doctor, probably 4 discs being replaced again in my neck. I'd been on Vicodin, Percocet, any pain medicine out there, I was on it. And I was taking double doses, putting them together, and nothing would help. They would just knock me out to put me to sleep at night. But the pain was always there, and the headache was just awful. Nothing would make it go away.
At this point, is surgery in order?
Yes and no. Yes, my doctor wanted me to have it. No, I couldn't have it because I don't have time to have my head in a halo for 9 months and only lift, a coffee cup or silverware when I have a son to take care of. But at this point, I don't feel that I need the surgery.
After Dr. Nemeh's initial prayer over Ricky at the Convocation Center, Darlene brought her son to a healing service at St. Barnabas Anglican Church in Bay Village.
On that day here at St. Barnabas, was he in a wheelchair, or you were carrying Ricky, or what?
He was in a wheelchair. We had been here about 3 hours, and I decided to take him out of the wheelchair and give his body a stretch. So we were walking down this hallway.
Okay, and all of a sudden there's the doc and Kathy Nemeh approaching you.
Exactly.
Okay, what happened?
They were taking a break and going into the room behind us, and they stopped and wanted to pray for Ricky right here in the hallway. So I was holding him with his legs wrapped around me, and Dr. Nemeh proceeded to pray for Ricky and place his hands on him, and Kathy Nemeh came up to me and put her hand just like this on the back of my shoulder blades. And I had never mentioned anything about wanting anything for myself. But when she did that, I felt like I was struck by lightning. And the first thing that came to my mind was, God, please don't let me drop my child on this floor that is kind of like cement, because he'll need a lot of help after that.
But you hung on.
I hung on, and we had our prayers, and we got ready to go home. And it was outside, putting his wheelchair that's 250 pounds up into the car. It was no problem getting it in, and we were driving home, and I thought, something's not right. I just couldn't quite figure out what was wrong, but it was really not wrong. It was just, I was so used to living with pain and a headache that it felt wrong to not have it, and it took me a while to figure out that I had no pain, I had no headache, I felt great. It was amazing.
And no longer need for surgery for you.
No.
Yeah.
And after that night, I haven't taken pain medication.
That day at St. Barnabas proved to be life-altering for Darlene and her family.
How mind-boggling is it that God has reached down into you and your son Ricky and done what he has done?
Very. It is very mind-boggling, because I consider my problems I had, they're small compared to what a lot of people go through on a day-to-day basis. And I think Kathy Nemeh actually said it best, and it helps me accept my healing, because for my son to be healed, I also need to be able to help take care of him. And so maybe God worked in me first, or to a bigger extent than he has my child. But I'm very grateful, I feel very blessed, but yet I wish it were my son that came out of this better than I did.